And yes, today, or rather, it seems that more than seductive, they are, we can say, on the edge of what is presentable. But despite that, the information I bring you, it is indeed juicy, because I'm going to give you some recommendations regarding seduction that are powerful. I truly believe that. And it's just that I was talking with a client of mine who didn't understand, but Amanda, what am I doing wrong? And it's that we tend to confuse being able to seduce, truly having weapons that are seductive in terms of our way of proceeding, with what are considered objective qualities. So when we encounter someone who perhaps has qualities that objectively don't match ours, yet despite that, they don't fall at our feet, this causes us a lot of mental obsession. I'm going to say it in a more colloquial way. There's nothing worse than becoming obsessed with someone physically, objectively, because tastes are very relative. To each their own, right? But becoming obsessed with someone physically inferior, or with someone who has a lifestyle we consider inferior, or if there's already a combination, right? For example, imagine you are a person who is used to physically attracting attention, and perhaps you have a good professional career, you have a well-structured life, and you fall in love with a loser, so to speak. Or with someone who, in theory, doesn't know what to do with their life, doesn't do anything productive physically, objectively. I repeat, it's like a little thing, right? And that person might not pay attention to you or fall at your feet. This can be very obsessive, but it's because of what I say. We believe that in the end, our ability to seduce someone is based on how attractive I am, which obviously has a big impact when it comes to attracting and catching attention. But let's say it's in the forefront, it's the showcase to our life. Once the person has crossed the showcase or has stopped to look at it, many other factors come into play. And we'll have, no, I'm handsome, I'm intelligent, I have this, I have that. Okay, but you might have a person who has crossed the showcase, a personality that is not seductive at all. That's how it is. But don't worry, because today I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to be completely honest about certain aspects that incredibly impact our ability to seduce the other person. So if you lack any of them, today you can acquire it. So from now on, instead of obsessing, because our brain can't stop ruminating over what it doesn't understand, right? So, as I said before, if you like someone who is objectively below you, you don't understand why you like them. And then usually the narrative you give to your close ones is, I criticize and criticize and criticize the person, but I love them. So the less I understand why I love them, the more I love them and the more I overthink, okay? Well, let's analyze. I would probably tell you that this person might not have the objective qualities you think they should have to attract you, but they do have these behaviors that we are going to discuss next. And you should review whether you have them or not. The first one, and I can guarantee you this, whenever I come across with couples where one says, but what do they see in them? No, what do they see in them? Because this beautiful girl or this attractive guy is with this person. Normally, this never fails. It really does. And we wonder afterwards, is it the money? Is it something else? Is it that they do the tiger leap in bed? No. That person has a self-concept. That's amazing. I mean, usually there are people you say, really? And also because they have it so intrinsically and genuinely, they convey it to you. That is, you might have seen the person in a photo and not understood anything, but if you have the chance to sit with that person for a drink because you're at a meeting and you chat with them for a while, your physical perception of that person changes completely. Why? Because that person has such confidence and an excellent self-concept that they convey it to you and you pick it up, because here we have mirror neurons, we have empathy, we are in contact with the energy of others, and it becomes contagious, especially if it is sincere and not fake. I mean, as I say, there are people out there who have that ability to feel they are the best no matter what. And here we reach the key part. How do I know I have that concept? Because sometimes we believe we have it, we confuse it with self-love, and sometimes we even confuse self-love with the simple act of ensuring our survival, which is very different, meaning that you take care of yourself. From getting sick, that you take care of yourself, etc. Those are survival care measures. There's a step from there to self-love, right? Self-love is more. Just because I don't wish anything bad to happen to someone doesn't mean I love them. How do I show someone that I love them? Well, by taking care of that person or showing a degree of interest in what concerns them, being attentive, having thoughtful gestures, telling them, right? Well, that's the difference between who takes care of their survival and who already loves themselves, right? The person who invests in themselves, who is attentive to themselves, who spends more time reflecting on their own matters than on the matters of those they care about, right? That would be a detail. But then there's another level. There are truly those people who are in love with themselves. And those people convey it. And those people are highly seductive. And as I say, the point to know if you are in, do you care more about your opinion than the opinion of others? Because that is the limit. Honestly, if I had to draw a line where your self-concept becomes seductively pervasive, that is to say, it doesn't matter. At that point, when you reach that level, when you have that level of confidence, I swear you can even stop worrying about your appearance, truly. There are also those people who are sometimes even extravagant, right? Who have their own style, right? Which doesn't have to be flattering at all, but it doesn't matter. Because in the end, it is just another sign that emphasizes what I just explained, which is that line of, for me, above your opinion and anyone else's, mine prevails by far. And I'm not worried about the impression I make on you, because since my opinion prevails, and my opinion is that I am the quintessence here. I am the best, I am a gift from life, I am a prize for others. And in the end, it's like that. It's not just that I'm talking about this type of people. As I say, that level of seduction not only allows you to seduce people above your league or above your level of objectively supposed attractiveness. No, no. I'm talking about the fact that they are also people who, in their relationships, effectively make the other person feel grateful or amazed to be with them, right? They are completely the center of their relationship. And all of this stems from their concept. So if today you still care more about what others think, spend too much time worrying about others, have insecurities, work on it. Work on it faithfully. You need to have confidence in yourself. You shouldn't be embarrassed to express an opinion. You shouldn't be ashamed to do what you want. In the end, in this life, you are born alone and you die alone. All the people you will meet are people who will be in your life temporarily, sometimes more, sometimes less. And this is something we find very hard to accept, just as we find it hard to accept that people spend very little time thinking about us. Really, they form an idea, they form an opinion, and then they move on to something else. So there are people out there who live so conditioned by what is expected of them or what they think is expected, the whole thing. All of these are obstacles for you to reach your full potential of confidence. Work on your confidence. The concept you have of yourself, if you have a fabulous concept of yourself, this is highly attractive. The next one, not showing vulnerability. We've been very poorly accustomed, haven't we? We believe that somehow that burst of sincerity, that burst of vulnerability, precisely in those moments when we feel like that. Because the other person is leading us into an emotional conflict with what we feel and what we receive. We've been taught that moment in the series or in the movies. No. Oh. And I know you love yourself, but I love you. And the person who was behaving like a despicable set turns around, looks at you, and it's like they grab you or kiss you when they say, me too. Until now, I was behaving like a trash bag because I didn't know you loved me. This usually doesn't happen, not to say it doesn't happen at all. Normally, showing vulnerability should be something, and I've talked about this, that for our own emotional safety, we should only allow ourselves with people who are showing vulnerability with us. With us. This is the minimum. The minimum to take the step or leap into vulnerability, right? But highly seductive people go beyond that. Then they extend it a bit more. Of course, they are not going to show vulnerability to someone who is not behaving as they should. It's the last thing they would do. A seductive person, if they have to bluff, they will bluff. And if they have to double down, they will double down. You can be absolutely sure of that. They know that it is not attractive. They know that weakness is exploited by the other. They know that weakness is not attractive, and therefore they do not practice it. That is to say, it's not that they don't feel, but they understand that there is no advantage in showing my cards when I know I'm going to lose. So I keep them to myself, or I bluff, right? Attractive people are like that. It's always like, if you are at this level of vulnerability, at this level of involvement, at this emotional level, I am a little less. Always a little less. Even if I am here, it doesn't matter. But I will always make you understand in terms of what I show you, that I am a little below, that I am a little less involved. No, you don't. And here comes the part, as I always have that part, you don't have power over me. In the end, what they convey to you is this, that no matter what happens, it doesn't matter if we get more involved, but I never let you have power over me. I always remain in control over my emotional field. And I always make you believe because of it, that I have more power over you than you have over me. And sometimes it's mere perception. But the thing is, seduction is largely based on perception. It's based a lot on fantasy, on imagination, on how we believe things are. It's the opposite of clarity, of openness, of that vulnerability. So seductive people do this very well. It's not that they never give you power over them, but they never let you know that you have power over them. And if you somehow manage to hurt them, they won't show it to you. Not even as a joke. And I honestly think this isn't, I see it as beneficial, I see it as good, because in the end, I think that we should be vulnerable. I wouldn't take it to the extreme, but always with those people who deserve it. Our vulnerability. That is to say, if I cry with you, it will be because my tears hurt you. But me crying because I feel that my tears don't hurt you, to see if by crying they do hurt you. Go and get lost. Somewhere. That's how it is. No. Because precisely the more something inside us screams, I'm going to be fragile, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be devoted, I'm going to give it my all. That's the moment when it's least convenient. We also have to learn to protect ourselves, truly. Next, highly seductive people practice detachment a lot, a great deal. That is to say, it was somewhat related to the first one, but it is different. Beyond having that fantastic concept they have of themselves, but this obviously affects them. If I have a real concept, obviously, who is the protagonist and absolute center of my life? Well, it has to be me, because if I am incredible, why would it be someone else? So since in the end I never give up the main space to anyone, I can let people enter my life, be part of my life, get closer to me, occupy, be a more important role than another. But I do not give up the main space. That is mine. So that concept, that order in my life of understanding priorities and knowing that my main priority is me, it makes it so that evidently in the end, I can live with that ability to detach, to say, if nothing is more important than me, everything is dispensable in my life. And I convey this to others. That is to say, when people are with me, highly seductive people, they instill enormous respect in others, not because they are violent or have aggressive language, but because this is intuitively understood. What I'm talking about now, you realize that this person, if they have to let go of you, they will do it because they have that ability, because you realize that in the end, their life never revolves around you. No matter how much they might even fall in love with you, their life does not revolve around you. So you realize that. But usually they are not only detached in their romantic relationships. It is not limited to this, right? They are people who have to undertake a project, and for that, well, they are not afraid to step out of their comfort zone. But the reason they are not afraid to leave their comfort zone, more than because they are incredibly brave, is because of this. Because in general, they have developed their ability to detach. They understand that things can be and cease to be. Because in the end, their main stability lies within themselves. And since they will continue to have themselves no matter what happens, and as I say, in the end, they do believe they deserve the best, they also take risks in pursuit of achieving the best. And you realize that they are people who never stop. To a certain extent, and that's why they sometimes create a lot of insecurity in their partners, even if they are not deliberately trying to make them jealous, because they don't seem to be triangulating you, nor are they with other people. You have the feeling that in the end, they are not 100% closed off to love. And it's because they have this concept that in the end, they can detach from anyone and deserve the best. You fear. More than them making you understand that they are going to meet someone else, you fear that someone else might appear. Highly seductive people keep their partners on edge because of this. Besides, obviously, the impact of that charisma they have in these behaviors, which makes it so that just as they have charmed you, right? Well, you think, okay, I'm dating someone who in theory maybe isn't. It's not that they are worth more than me, nor are they the quintessence. But in the same way that they had that impact on me and charmed me, I realized that this charisma, this something they have, they also convey to others, right? So they tend to be people who attract the attention of others, who spark curiosity, who others become interested in. So, as you also know within yourself, that this person could end up leaving you and their life wouldn't end. They might be sad, but their life wouldn't end because they convey that to you. And they are people who believe they deserve the best. You always fear that someone better might appear and replace you. But all of this is at a very unconscious level. As I say, there's no speech here. It's not that the person tells you this. If the person deliberately conveys this to you, then it's a different matter. And we're talking about a more toxic profile and about inducing jealousy, right? That this person is trying to create insecurity in you? No. The highly seductive person isn't even trying to create that insecurity in you. It's just that, of course, if my self-concept is excellent, but you, for example, don't have such a good self-concept, being with me will make you feel insecure. But the solution isn't to try to obsessively control the other person, but to achieve a sufficiently good self-concept myself so that I don't have that fear, right? So to speak, that would be the solution. But well, I don't want to get sidetracked. I'm focusing on those qualities that these types of people usually have. And if not, if you, for example, say today, Amanda, I don't understand what's going wrong in my love life. Why? People tell me that I'm handsome, that I'm pretty, that I'm nice, that I'm funny, that people like me. I have a more or less stable life. I have things to offer. I'm a caring person because I do attract. Even in many cases, it's not an issue of attraction if I attract. But then what happens? Am I too good? No. But maybe you're lacking certain qualities to enhance your attractiveness so that people become more hooked. So they want more from you and such. Use what we've talked about today. Give it some thought because this really shouldn't be underestimated. These things we've talked about today make a huge difference in terms of how we relate emotionally with a person. Well, I hope this video is helpful to you and that you liked it. If that's the case and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, of course, I invite you to do so. Hit the bell because I would love for us to see each other again very soon. And until then, as always, I send you a big kiss.